Starting in a quadruped or tabletop position with your knees on some blocks, you are going to just tap your legs out to the side. It's going to look like a gate pose. Your toes can be forward or slightly turned out. Just finding that nice base of support. And then you can come out onto the forearms and do a few rounds of cat-cow here. Really taking time to segment through each part of your spine. After a few rounds, you are going to push yourself up back to that tabletop position and bring one leg through to a 90-90. So that means all joints are stacked in a line. And then you're going to shift your weight forward and back, really letting that knee travel over that ankle joint. Your hands can be on your hips or on your shoulders like I've demonstrated here. And then take a little twist. And then you're going to twist to the other side, kind of coming to like a warrior two upper body. Back to the center. And then you're going to hinge forward and come back to that tabletop position. And we're going to go to the other side. Again, really letting that ankle track forward and past. Taking your twist, trying to keep those hip bones forward and focusing on the twist coming from the heart region, the thoracic spine. Back in that tabletop. From here, you're just going to tap your legs right behind you, kind of like we did when we were out in the side in our gate pose. But we're just going right behind us, trying to, again, keep those hips level. This time the leg is going to come back through to that 90-90, but you are going to take it out to the corners of your mat and do the same thing, shifting that weight forward and back. Notice the difference from the leg being right in front of you to how it feels when it's to the side corner of your mat. Taking those twists again. And then take those twists again, coming into a little forced arch position. Means up on your toes, then zip and lift to a high lunge. And then you can keep your arms up, or you can do some tricep extensions, like I've demonstrated. Back into a plank. And we're just going to do all that again to the other side. So bringing the leg through, again going towards the corner of your mat. Shift that weight forward and back. As you pull yourself back, really use that back quad. Find that rotation and twist. And then again, you'll go up onto that foot, onto the ball of the foot, and find those twists again. Walk that foot back to the center, then zip and lift. Finding that high lunge, really thinking about spiking that back foot like you're wearing high heels and engaging that front quad. Hands can be to the inside of the foot as you step it back to that plank. And then tabletop. This time in your tabletop, you're going to come down to your forearms, take your legs out to the side, and you're going to do a dynamic gate pose. So you're just shifting your weight forward and back, stretching through that inner thigh. And from here, you'll take some rotations, opening the chest up to the side, going side to side. Again, focusing on keeping the hips level. Bring the leg back and around and back to the tabletop and going to the other side. Down on the forearms, shift it forward and back. Again, going through your range of motion here as far back as you can. You can also have this with the arms straight if you would like. And then take your twist again. Lift the leg, bring it behind, hold. Back to your blocks and lift up and back, find a down dog. And then from here you can do some calf raises and you can walk your dog, wiggle it out. Now for the second version of some hip opening, you can start on your back and just begin to march your knees here. So you're flexing through the hip, bringing the knees to the chest. And then you're going to begin to push the leg towards you and away. So again, the knee's going to come into the chest, the foot's going to go away. Kind of like you're doing a leg press machine on your back. And then you can also do some leg pull downs. Think about squeezing the quad as you lift that leg up. You can also flex and point the foot. But we're just lowering the leg down and then bringing it up. And then after a few rounds, you're going to make a bicycling motion with your leg. So it's like we're pedaling that bike. You can also do these off a block or on a block. Reverse the bike direction. In dance, this would be an envelope. So you're just reversing that bicycling action. Then you're going to take the leg up and you're just going to focus on rotating through the leg. So think about the toes going towards the side and then back to the midline. Cross the leg over and you're going to do some figure 4 hip flexion here. Think about bringing that left knee into the chest and you're going to stretch that right outer hip. And then stay in that figure 4 position. You're going to do some bridge posing. And then if you're on the block, this is going to train the end range of motion of that bridge pose. And you're going to repeat this whole sequence hovering over the block. If you aren't using the block, you would just hold the bridge pose and do all the same leg positions. So you're going to be doing your leg pull downs, your bicycles, your internal and external rotations. When you're doing your internal external rotations, try and focus on the rotation happening from the top of the hip joint. And then crossing that figure 4, lower it all the way down. Remove the block if you're using it. And if you aren't, just lift those hips up and swing your hips side to side like a hammock. And think about really reaching your tailbone for the floor to traction out through this lumbar. Laying on your side, you're just going to sweep your arms forward and back, alternating with your legs. I kind of like to call this a pendulum motion here. So if the fingers reach forward, the toes reach behind you, and then toes reach forward, arms reach behind. And then from here, we're going to do what I call knee kisses. So you bring your toes up to your knee, and then you're going to internally and externally rotate through the hip. So the knee is going to touch the other knee, and then it's going to come up. Top knee touches bottom knee, and then top toe touches bottom knee. And then you're going to move on to the clams. So I like to imagine that I have a rubber band around my ankles, and I'm just lifting my top knee up, just like a clamshell. Here we have some sideline hip, ab, and adduction. So you'll lift the top leg, lift the bottom leg, lift the bottom, lift the lower. So it goes up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. Really think about pressing that top hip down towards the edge of your mat. And then from here, we're going to do envelopes and développés. It's almost like that bicycling motion that we did in the previous exercise. We're drawing that leg down and then just sliding it up our leg, bending the knee, and then reversing it. Lift the leg, bend the knee, slide the leg down the other leg. Making sure all the while we're drawing that belly button in and we're keeping a nice length through the top and bottom obliques. And then from here, you can grab that big toe for a little sideline Vishnu pose here. Then rolling onto the back for reclined big toe pose. Feel free to use a strap here if you would like, or grab around the hamstrings. And then just begin to flex the foot and bend the knee, and then straighten the leg and point the toes. You're just gonna alternate. This is gonna be a sciatic nerve flossing, and then a dynamic hamstring stretch. And then you'll bring that knee across and take a twist. what I like to do here when I'm demonstrating is doing a dynamic twist pass. So I'm bringing the knee across, and then I'm wrapping my outside arm around the outside of the leg to stretch to the inner thigh. So I'm just going back and forth, really rooting down to that supporting side. And then I'm just cradling my hip, and it's look like a reclined pigeon. And then I'm just gonna float the non-pigeon leg up and down, like those leg pull downs from earlier. And then I'm gonna let go of the leg and do an active pigeon leg on the right side. Find that figure 4 again and take some twist. Really letting the foot and the knee lead the movement. Staying in any pose that you need to for a little bit longer. Trying to keep those shoulder blades glued to the floor.